Hey, it's summertime. Late spring, summer is the best time for your fruit desserts. What I want to talk to you today about is one of the questions I get asked most when it comes to fruit desserts is what's the difference between a buckle, a cobbler, and a crisp? And there's really not a lot. It's pretty much the same base of fruit, but the toppings tend to vary and cooking times vary. So if you look down here, you'll see I have a cobbler, and this is basically fruit with a biscuit or shortbread topping. Here's a crisp, that's your fruit base, with a brown sugar butter and sometimes oats, sometimes almond topping. And then over here I have a buckle, which is a little bit more like a coffee cake, whereas it's a cake batter with fruit in it. So we have a cobbler, a crisp, and a buckle. I'll show you a little bit about how to make those, the techniques around making those right now. So I have my cherries here today. I've got tapioca starch in there. The way to bring out the flavor in any fruit is to add a little citrus zest or even sometimes black pepper. It'll pop the fruit flavors. These are sour cherries from Washington, and they are good for tarts and for other sorts of baking because they are less sweet and less juicy than, say, a Bing cherry, although they all work. The other thing that I like to do to my fruit is to give it a spice kick. So we're gonna go over and we're gonna grind some fresh cinnamon and some fresh star anise. This is the way to get the brightest flavors out of your spices, is to grind them whole. So we're gonna take our spice. You don't wanna overdo that. All right, into our pot. So this will be for our crisp. This will be for our cobbler. On the buckle, I have floured and buttered the pan so that it comes out nice and easy. We're gonna throw our cake batter in there and just spread it out a little bit. And I'm gonna leave it chunky because I'm gonna add my fruit right to this. On the cake batter, since it's gonna cook for so long, I'm gonna use a raw streusel. This is just a classic butter, a little bit of flour, brown sugar. One of the tricks that we do at the restaurant to give a nice crunchy topping is to pre-bake our streusel. We get it nice and crisp. What's the worst thing about a crisp is when it's not crisp, right? We're just gonna put our crisp topping right on top of the cherries. Okay, there's our crisp, there's our buckle. Now the last thing we have is the cobbler. I've got shortbread biscuits here, and basically this you just want to kind of crumble over the top. These will rise, right? There's baking powder in them, so they're gonna rise and kind of come together. So at the end of the day, after they're baked, simply you can see how these all came together here. Still a nice, feel this nice crunchy topping, and of course our streusel. Thanks for coming to my house today.